Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another live stream. So I didn't do a video yesterday, and it's remarkable how much can happen in just 24 hours. Now, let's just start off here today with the price of crude oil. Looking at the chart for that right now. And as you can see, it is up significantly, up over 87 bucks. This is WTI crude. Here you can see there was a big spike yesterday. Going to get into what was driving that, what is likely to drive this much higher. There's a lot to cover because we have got 2 days of developments here, but bottom line is price of gold and silver are breaking out despite some hawkish rhetoric from the Federal Reserve, despite a strong jobs report today. So this is very significant. Let's take a look at the chart of silver. So here's the chart of silver. You can see we're near the highs of this breakout here. And very interesting. So we got the jobs report today. It was stronger than expected. Surprise, surprise. Probably get revised down later, right? That's how these reports usually go. But notably, the price of silver is rising now despite that. You can see, though, that there's this kind of long candle down to about 26.27 that we got in today's trading session. And I think that might be the pullback, the retesting of the resistance. I don't know that we're going to get another decline here, another buying opportunity. I think that might be it. Now, it's very important if we get a close today around the current level. I mean, I know the day is young. It's about 11:30 the time I'm live streaming this for everybody who's watching later. The price could still get smacked down, I guess, before the end of the trading session, but it's Friday, and if we get a close, a weekly close that shows a breakout, I'll show you what I mean. If we switch this to a weekly view, this is the first candle that's breaking out of this consolidation pattern. So if we get a high close, that's going to be very bullish for the price of silver moving forward. Probably the price of gold and oil are also going to be moving higher due to the geopolitical instability, which we're going to get into in just a moment. It's getting pretty bad indeed. If you want to get some gold or silver before they break any higher, I recommend you check out SD Bullion, channel sponsor. There's a link down in the description. These are the best deals, I think, right now, just my opinion. They've got kilo bars, $1.29 over spot, any quantity. I like these things a lot. I have several of them. I think it's a good form of silver to get in bulk. They've also got junk silver. This stuff is likely to be moving much higher as this plays out, if you ask me. Premiums on this are starting to move up now. You notice $2.49 over spot. If you want to get a better deal, you can buy larger quantities, but this is a sign that retail investors are starting to move into this market, and I think that's going to be a trend that increases significantly. Of course, gold, they've got these buffaloes on sale. Did you ever think that $2,400 would be a good deal on a buffalo? I mean, that's pretty wild. But that's where we're at, right? Gold over $2,300, silver breaking out of a consolidation pattern. This is, I think, a sign that more of this is to come. It's not just bullion either. I mean, look at this. This is First Majestic Silver Corp. Past 5 trading sessions, this stock has moved up 27%. That's a pretty big move. But, if you zoom this chart out, back in 2022 or 2021, this was over 17 bucks. So, I mean, there's still a lot of room to move up. If you look at the long-term chart, this is just getting moving. And I think that some of these these miners, these paper silver derivative type assets are going to move a lot more even than the underlying metal itself. Of course, it's a bit riskier. Look, none of this is financial advice. However, given this chart in silver, I actually did add to some of my paper positions in silver today, and you might think, that's a bad time to do it, right, when the metal is up. But if you look at this chart, this consolidation pattern, this symmetrical triangle in silver, you can see that we're breaking out of it now, and that probably means that, this run is just getting started. At least that's my take on things. Now, let's get into the news. So That spike that we saw in crude oil yesterday, it came on this news of the CIA warning that Iran will attack Israel within 48 hours. And that's a pretty specific warning from the CIA, and I think this might be reminiscent of the U.S. intelligence warning of the terror attack in Russia, remember, which played out basically exactly as that warning, which had gone out to embassy personnel, had called it, a concert venue. So, look, this is not a warning that we should disregard. And this is in response to the consulate strike, which killed 2 top IRGC generals recently. The allegedly Iranian consulate in Damascus getting leveled by a Israeli airstrike. Excuse me. I see some folks in the chat saying, good job with what you do. I do appreciate that. I always appreciate the positive feedback. If you like this channel and you think this is important information, do me a favor, smash that like button. Somebody the other day left a comment saying that the channel was getting a little too doom and gloom, and it turned into like nothing but a news reporting service. And look, I like to make videos about, gold bars, silver bars, coins, rounds, all that stuff, junk silver. But the bottom line is that the situation in the world right now is just getting worse, okay? It's getting kind of doom and gloom. This is obviously going to have a big impact on the price of gold and silver, and rather than just report the news, I try to give all of you some unique insights and some commentary that you might not get elsewhere, like in the mainstream. So, look, if you appreciate the channel, I really appreciate all of you who tune in. Do me a favor, smash the like button, and share the video to help get the information out there. Now, in response to this warning from the CIA, Israel has evacuated their embassies. So just to give you an idea of how seriously they're taking this worldwide, the idea being, I suppose, that because it was a strike allegedly on a Iranian embassy, that the Iranians might retaliate in kind. You also had, Israel, according to Reuters here, the takeaway I wanted to share with you from this story was that the Israeli army has canceled all leave for combat units. Again, another sign of how serious this warning really is. It's very likely that we're about to see a large-scale regional war kick off in the Middle East. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to how Iran might respond to these attacks. They might launch widespread airstrikes. They might respond via their proxies. They might respond by attacking U.S. forces in the region. I think one risk that we can't really discount is that they might attack Israel and Israeli allies, including U.S. assets abroad, right? There's a big problem right now at the southern border with a lot of people crossing over. It would be not difficult for some Iranian agents to get lost in the sauce there, if you ask me. You look at the numbers of people who are crossing the border right now. So, we all need to, in addition to getting prepared financially and, physically, you need to be keeping your head on a swivel right now because, there's a real risk that this might not just be limited to the Middle East. And I think that's at least something that we need to consider here. Also, this is maybe the most telling sign of all what a serious risk this is of a broad-scale regional war and Iranian airstrikes on Israel. Israel yesterday scrambled their GPS signals in Tel Aviv. This disrupted all sorts of stuff, deliveries, people using GPS to navigate around the city. You switch on your GPS, you're in Tel Aviv, all of a sudden it says you're in some random location in the Middle East. They did this to attempt to disrupt any Iranian drones that might be using GPS signals to reach their targets. But this is a very disruptive step to take. So the fact that they're doing this, I think, shows that this is a real threat. Now, another story that I've seen kind of reported widely in the Middle East, just kind of coinciding with this escalation, is about this cache of, or cache, I always mispronounce that word, cache of Chinese weapons that was found in Gaza, according to a recent report. And the fact that this story is out there in the mainstream, I don't think is any any mistake. This is gearing us up for war with China kind of delineating the battle lines here, painting them as a force that is supplying Hamas. I mean, according to this report and this media story, they're saying the IDF found Chinese military equipment in Hamas warehouses, including large numbers of assault rifles, grenade launchers, telescopic sights for rifles and cartridges, high-end communications equipment, listening devices, tactical military radios, and sophisticated explosives. Now, just because this was found, I don't think is any indication necessarily of state support for Hamas, although that could be the case. But, this put me in a mind of a story actually that predates the current conflict that we saw from the Middle East Monitor about how U.S. arms that were left in Afghanistan, and there were a lot of those, all sorts of equipment was left behind for the Taliban when the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan. And this is about how U.S.-made weapons were getting smuggled into Gaza. Of course, this is from June 17th, so before the current wave of nastiness erupted. However, the fact that we're seeing these reports of Chinese weapons entering Gaza, I think there's a reason that they're reporting on that so widely, and it's because this conflict that's looming is not going to be limited to the Middle East. It's going to encompass, well, the whole world, basically. It could start off as a war between Iran and Israel, but the U.S. will quickly be drawn into that. And, Iran and Russia are military allies. NATO's getting ready to move into Ukraine. China is backing them. They're in the BRICS nations, the anti-hegemon alliance, if you will. So, look, this has very ominous repercussions potentially beyond the Middle East, this conflict, which looks like it could kick off, according to the CIA reporting yesterday, within 48 hours. So, look, you have to be at least keen to the idea that it's within the realm of possibilities that come Monday, the geopolitical chessboard might look very different than it does today. To give you an idea of some of the escalations in the region, there was a terrorist attack in Iran on an IRGC base in the southern part of the country where Sunni Muslim militants conducted attacks on military installations. Now, I mean, how this ties in to what's going on between Israel and Iran is anybody's guess. I mean, I'm not, privy to any kind of inside information, but speculatively, you could say that this is just a regional disturbance. Maybe Mossad has a hand in this. Who knows, right? Anything is possible. The U.S. and U.S. intelligence has been mixed up in the region, in the Syria conflict for, over a decade now. So a lot of these militant groups have ties one way or another. But the fact that this is, a fairly decent-sized skirmish here with 27 killed in this battle between militants and Iran, it just seems that it is likely connected in one way or another, but it's just a sign that things really are heating up. This is, I don't think, a instance of the CIA crying wolf. I think there is something to this. Also, notably, just more degeneration of relations in the area. There was an Israeli airstrike which killed these aid workers recently, working for a World Kitchen, basically just trying to, feed hungry people, and apparently they had cleared their transit with the IDF and everything, and yet still an airstrike, which the Israelis are saying was a grave mistake, and apparently the Biden administration is upset about. But this has caused a disruption of relations between Israel and the UAE. According to 24 News, i24news.tv here, we have got the United Arab Emirates announcing a suspension of diplomatic coordination with Israel in the wake of the death of these 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian workers. So, the fact that the UAE is cutting off diplomatic relations with Israel, not a good sign for any kind of peacemaking process. And, things are, again, escalating. And, if Iran goes to war with Israel, crude oil at $87 is going to look very cheap, I think. If they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of global oil production flows through there. The Iranians have done it before. They are capable of doing it. I'm sure they have planned for this well in advance. You're going to see this go, easily 3 digits, right? $100 oil is like the base case, probably overnight, should this conflict kick off, but could potentially go much, much higher than that. Now, I want to talk about the jobs report here. I thought I had a story about it pulled up. Here we go. This one will work. So the bottom line with the jobs report today was that the U.S. economy added 303,000 jobs, right? That was against expectations of 200,000 jobs added. So better than expected. Now, why is this important given what we're witnessing today? Well, in the past, strong jobs reports have been negative for the price of gold and silver, with the idea being that, if the economy is so strong, if we're adding all these jobs, the Fed can wait to cut rates. Never mind the fact that the jobs numbers are all cooked and manipulated anyway. This is how the trading algorithms and investors seem to behave. But today, despite the strong jobs report, we've got gold up to 30. Let's see, I've got the price here, 23.43. That's, if not an all-time high, very close to an all-time high. I think it is, actually. Silver is up, oil is up. We've also recently had Neil Kashkari. This guy is the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis president, and he had some hawkish comments the other day, which actually seemed to put a little bit of a damper on the silver rally. If you go back to the daily view on this chart, I think that his comments kind of coincided with this red candle that we see here, where silver kind of took a break for a day. That was yesterday, and dropped down to under $27, and it kind of drifted lower throughout the day. He said, if we continue to see inflation moving sideways, that would make me question whether we need to do rate cuts, right? So not particularly dovish there, pretty hawkish actually. He said if we have a run rate that's very attractive, people have jobs, businesses are doing well, inflation is coming down, why do anything? So, and I kind of agree with him here that if the economy was so strong, why would the Fed cut rates right now? The headline CPI, the CPI, headline CPI and core CPI are still well above the Fed's 2% target. Everything seems to be fine according to the powers that be, the political elites and the central bankers. If everything is, so great, why is the Fed going to cut? Well, the reality is that the Fed has to cut because the economy is not strong. It's a shambles. You got a bunch of people working part-time jobs. That's no sign of strength. You have got GDP growing, funded by massive deficits only. It's only the huge deficit spending that's keeping any semblance of economic growth alive. And you have a banking sector that's insolvent, on the verge of collapse. You have a commercial real estate sector that is collapsing. So look, that's why the Fed is going to have to cut rates, all right? And they won't tell you that, but that's the reality. And I think that that's becoming clear, especially in light of the geopolitical instability that we're facing. And that's why today, despite the fact that we've got this hawkish commentary, despite the fact that we have, a strong jobs report, silver and gold are doing very well. And again, if we close at the level where silver currently is, around 27.38, it's the highest level silver has been in years. If you zoom out, I don't know how far you have to go back to get a price this high, but it's been a long time. Let's see. You got to go back to 2021, June. So, almost 3 years to go back to when silver was as high as it is right now. If we get this closed, then I think in the coming weeks we are going to see much, much higher prices. That's just from a technical standpoint, just looking at the data. In fact, you know what? Why don't we have a little fun here to close things out? I'm going to use the AI app. If you guys saw my live stream, guys and gals, saw my live stream a couple of, maybe last week, I think, where we used this AI plugin to analyze the silver chart. Why don't we do that and see what it says about this breakout? Now, remember, this happens in real time, so I have no idea what this thing is going to say, but this app or browser plugin called Chart Eye is kind of neat. We can wrap up and see what it says about silver here. All right, so this chart represents the price action for silver on a daily time frame from an unspecified exchange. The analysis here is based on the visible patterns and technical indicators. Now, remember, this is technical analysis, so this could be the chart of anything. It doesn't have to be silver. This doesn't account for any of the fundamentals. It's just looking at the price action. So this could be the chart of Pop-Tarts. Doesn't matter what it is. This is just based on the chart, okay? So it doesn't count any of the fundamental factors. It says price trend. Two main trend lines are forming a converging pattern indicating the formation of a symmetrical triangle as of the last candlestick, the price is broken out from the upper boundary of the triangle, which is usually considered a bullish signal. However, it is essential to consider the potential for a false breakout, where prices could retreat back into the triangle, negating the bullish signal. So sure, that absolutely 100% could happen here. And yet I think that given the fundamentals aligning with the chart, it's much more likely that we're going to see this breakout continue. Let's see what it says for a possible trading strategy. And remember, this is not financial advice. This is not even me. I'm just reading to you what an AI says about this chart. For a potential trade strategy, here are the key levels based on the chart. Entry point. A trader might consider entering a long position if the price retests the breakout point and holds. This could be around the $27 level. Okay, I think we kind of saw that today, right? Stop loss. To manage risk, you could place a stop loss slightly below the breakout point, perhaps around $26.50. And then profit targets, taking profits at fixed intervals while the price continues on an uptrend could be a strategy, with a first target near the recent high around $27.80 and subsequent targets higher depending on momentum. Now, we looked at the cup and handle formation on the long-term silver chart the other day, and I gave you my price target just based on that chart for the current breakouts around $44. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to get there next week. However, I mean, when you look at the pace with which silver is moving higher, I think over the past 5 trading sessions, it's up like 11 or 12%. You can see you actually could get there pretty quickly, and that's kind of the nature of silver, right? Silver is volatile. Now, you know, if the stars don't align here and something occurs over the weekend, maybe, you know, Israel and Iran make peace, it could be that we see the price of oil come down next week. Maybe the Fed comes out and says, absolutely no rate cuts. Sure. I mean, any of these things could happen, right? And you could see the price of silver fall. But I think that the preponderance of factors here are in favor of and support further breakouts. So anyway, that's my update for today. Get ready, folks, because things are getting very interesting right now. Need to keep your head on a swivel. I would pay attention to what's going on. And listen, if the updates are getting too doom and gloom for you, my recommendation would be take a break from screens, take a break from news in your computer, get outside, get some fresh air, look at some sunlight, unfiltered sunlight, you know, walk in the grass with your shoes off a little bit, get grounded, and then get back to stacking and getting prepared. So thanks for watching, everybody. Do me a favor, smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, share the video to get the information out there. And I will do my best to keep all of you updated on what is going on, because things are starting to move very fast. That's it for today, everybody. Stay safe and happy stacking. I will catch you next.